Good afternoon to all. Thank you, Rui, and for the organization for inviting me to be here. First of all, I'm from a software house, but I'm not from Braga. It's okay? Okay, thank you then. I will talk today about computers in schools. And the first thing is, I only will share with you only one idea, that is this one. There is a revolution going on Portuguese schools. Now, I'm not talking about teachers, I'm talking about computers. This revolution, and before talking a bit about this revolution, let me talk a bit about myself and Caixa Mágica. I am one of the founders of Caixa Mágica, that was founded at more or less in 2000. And there are three things that make me very proud of Caixa Mágica. The first thing is about that we are proving that the open source software business model works. It really works, guys. I know what you are thinking. So you sell things that are free? Yeah, it's possible. So in the first 3 quarters, our revenue were 4 million. And we have now more or less 25 to 30 people working with us. And it is really important to show everyone that it's really possible to make money and to do things that we like with open source. The second thing about Caixa Mágica that I'm really proud is about our team. There are 25 guys and are really motivated, they are really very good and passionate about it. So I'm very proud. While I'm here watching very nice talks, they are working hard. At least I hope. The third thing that makes me very proud of Caixa Mágica are our clients. Our clients are very good. We work with Ministry of Justice deploying critical server systems. We work with SAPO deploying web platforms with very high scale needs. We work with TMN selling notebooks for schools programa escolas. We work with São Tomé e Príncipe government, customizing OpenOffice to them. So our clients are very, very good. I know that everyone here today is talking about internationalization. We are not going outside of Portugal. And I'll tell you why. For instance, what is your operating system in your notebook? But Windows. Okay, so it's a Mac. So it can be our potential market. It can have Linux on the system. And in your mobile phone, what is the operating system? Symbian? Symbian. Could be Android. So we have a lot of market to exploit. Oh, you catch me. So I said we have the government of São Tomé e Príncipe, and they are outside of Portugal, right? But 40 years ago they were Portuguese, so it does not count. Is it being recorded? Oh gosh. I think I lost my only international client. Anyway, the last guy talked about gays, so I think I can say it. No problem. But anyway, that makes us very proud, and for now, we have a lot of market to conquer here in Portugal. First of all, also, to fill the audience, who feels like an open source fan? Please raise your arm. Very, very good. But there are some people that have not raised the arm. So I will show you a small and short video. Caixa Mágica desktop that is really good. Small video for you.
Estamos a fazer uma iniciativa que é histórica.
Olá, Sr. Primeiro-Ministro, obrigado por responder a estas questões do software livre. A primeira coisa que eu lhe perguntava era como é que se definia a si próprio. Portanto, como Primeiro-Ministro, como pai, o que acha que o caracteriza mais como pessoa?
Eu sou um adepto do software livre.
Não tinha essa ideia. Mas então, qual é a sua atividade preferida? Jogging?
Ser adepto do software livre, ser adepto do software livre.
Mas então, e aqueles protocolos com tantos ministros, todos sentados à mesa, isso não parece que é um adepto do software livre.
O facto de termos feito isso, que permitiu que Portugal atraísse alguns bons negócios da Microsoft para Portugal.
Já agora, quais?
Bom, eu tenho muita dificuldade em responder essa pergunta.
Agora sim damos a volta a isto. Agora sim há pernas para andar. Agora sim eu sinto otimismo. Vamos em frente, ninguém nos vai parar.
Agora não, que é hora do almoço. Agora não, que é hora do jantar. Agora não, que eu acho que não posso. Amanhã vou trabalhar.
Okay. So, so let the open source fan get out of you, okay? There are a lot of open source fans that are not known. And for starting to talk about that idea that I said to you, first we must agree on that. Times are changing. Look into your children and say, I hope not like this way, but they are changing, right? They use this MP3 players and things like that. And for now, what is changing in schools, for start, is they have computers. Children have computers. There are some numbers over there. There are 750,000 e-school computers, notebooks. There are 110,000 PCs, Kit Tecnologia de Educação. There are 450,000 Magalhães. And with Caixa Mágica, there are 600,000 computers with Caixa Mágica software installed. And we are just starting. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, we have 600,000 clients, but they are very short, right? Okay, but they will grow, and we have clients growing up. So, how these results? So we have a new tool, these computers, with a huge impact because they are all over the country, not only in the cities, not only in upper classes. And when we talk about motivation, there are no children so motivated as the ones that use computers to search, to play, and so on. There are problems in these programs. Of course there are. First, I am always saying that in Magalhães project, the teacher does not have a computer, a Magalhães computer. That would be very important for him to know how to work with it. There are a lot of problems. They don't have training. But, you know, in companies and in public administration, it's never perfect, right? So what we have now is our children with a large potential tools that could have a huge impact. So that's the revolution that I'm talking about. Are you sure? Okay. So I prepared some papers to compete with him. What is the open source role, the open source software role in this revolution and our role? For talking a bit about that, let's look into this timeline, right? So we have prehistory. I am specialist in prehistory, where to spread knowledge you'd paint in the cave walls. And then we could sing to spread culture, and we have not software. At least maybe in Braga, but not in the rest of the world. And then in the 19th century, we have books spread. Okay, Gutenberg was in 60th century or 50th century. And we have gramophone and we have some tools. How about today? So today, the knowledge is mostly on the internet, like Wikipedia, right? And we share music. We read it from internet. We do not buy any more CDs and things like that. And we have two models of software. These are some logos, but could be any others. That symbolizes the proprietary model. And we have an open source model that works a bit differently. You can use it without paying, you can modify, you can sharing, and so on. So in prehistory, as I said, I'm a specialist in prehistory, it was free to draw in the walls. And you can also sing because it was free, but the impact was very small, just like 10 people that would see your drawings. In the 19th century, you could have books that somehow has a cost, and gramophone that the cost was even worse, but you reach more people. Each gramophone could reach, for instance, 20 people in the same family. How about today? Wikipedia is free, can use it without paying, and it reaches 1 billion people, 1/6 of the world. And of course, it's the same for downloading. Let's now analyze the software models. You have software that is highly costly, so you have to pay to have, I don't know, 100 euros, 200 euros to have Office in your computer. So you cannot reach the whole world, right? Just the people that have money to pay for it. And we have software that is free, and everyone with internet, or even without internet, can use it, install it, and not pay. So don't tell me, but think for yourself, which model do you think can win in these today's ages? Miguel and Carlos Oliveira is better not to think, okay? Don't you think too much. But think for yourself about it. So, if the revolution is going on, what are the signs that I can see in order to understand if it is really changing or not? So, my challenge is when in a day you heard about Linux products more than 3 times a day, you understand that things are changing. For instance, if I get to you and say, oh, my Android mobile is really working well, so what? Then if you go home and see the Netgear or Linksys router and your wife or your husband says, oh, this router is really working better than the last one, too. Or if you go to the desktop or you talk over the phone with someone that says, oh, my Linux desktop, I have installed something in my Linux desktop the third time. So watch for signs because things are changing. So now I will share, it's not really about only education, it's about our country, right? So we are doing TEDx in Portugal. I will give you 5 ideas that could really be interesting to put it working. And they are free, so you don't have to pay for the ideas, and you can change it if you want. It is Creative Commons. So it's top 5, so this is this one. So, why not doing an open source software academy for people between 16 and 22, where in half day of the week they could somehow develop software in an open source license. Why? Because they have a lot of creativity, innovation, and then could really boost some projects. Let's pass to the next one. Fourth idea. So, how about if in Portugal we could publish the software used by public administration? So, for instance, public administration uses a lot of software, and sometimes they develop the software. Why they don't publish the software under an open license like GPL or BSD or something like that? That could, of course, put the cost of software in public administration very low. So now I lost the people that sell licenses to public administration. No problem. Let's go to another one. Another idea. So, another idea is also regarding public administration. How about giving fellowships for, like, for instance, 20 employees of the public administration, and anyone inside public administration could apply for that fellowship. People are liking, man. Okay, and then that results could be reviewed each year, and that people could develop open source for their departments. Second idea. If the government, as in the Netherlands it was made up, if the government would mount a technical task force, would arrange a technical task force, that for any institute in the public administration, any department, could provide information and technical support for them. For instance, if in public administration someone wants to have a kind of software, they would supply some support, they would provide some support. It would be very interesting. And the last one, what I call 10 labs. 10, why number 10? Because imagine if we could somehow hire the top 10 developers in Portugal, right? Imagine yourself. To work in the top 10 international open source software projects. Things like Linux kernel, things like OpenOffice, things like Apache Web Server. And imagine that each one of them would have to provide 10 days a month working free for companies, for Portuguese companies, just to somehow create a culture inside of the country, of the company in terms of culture. And of course, the wages should be in the top 10. So, when you arrive home, what I would like you to share is this idea. There is a revolution going on in the Portuguese schools, a revolution that was made about providing computers, but also software, about have web contents in the internet, about making the children learn and get fun using computers. And there are two kind of groups today in Portugal. The one that crossed the arms, they said, all the problems about Magalhães, the spelling mistakes and so on, and the ones that understand that there will be a generation in Portugal that will drive the Portuguese in Portugal through something we never view or never heard about. This generation will really boost Portugal. And our generation should provide support and backup for them, should leverage their potential. In Caixa Mágica, we believe that in that group, and we believe we can leverage the potential of our children. So think about in which group you want to be. Thank you.
Questions? I have a question.
I thought that was good, yeah.
Have you had any experience with the prosumer model, in the sense that, or with other models, for example, having people developing applications for Caixa Mágica, people outside your company?
Remotely, for instance?
For instance.
Yes. We do not work a lot with that model, but for instance, in research, we have several European projects. We apply more for European funds than for Portuguese funds. And we have, for instance, people working in the United States and so on. Regarding the core of the team, we work presentially, but the remote model works very well. For instance, in terms of design, we have a lot of designing software, backgrounds, icons, and so on. We just work remotely. There is no designer in Caixa Mágica because we prefer to hire outside in order to creativity not to be stuck in there, but not for developing itself, at least in the product units.
Because this becoming so much pervasive in schools, I imagine, for example, teenagers that are the clients per excellence, developing by their own applications that they believe are what they want. And if, in the sense that it could in the future incorporate, let's say, the best 10 applications developed by them.
Yes, we share that idea, and we have a site that we call Contribuer that is online that allows people to contribute with packages. So what we do is somehow motivate not only teenagers but everyone that wants to collaborate that could apply a package that would be later approved by us and then put available. But I think that is a good idea. I think with this potential, with this impact, maybe we should start it and somehow motivate people and teenagers to develop. We have summer internships in Caixa Mágica. This year we have 4 guys from the first year, second year of university, so a little bit older, and it works very well because they have new ideas, they are very motivated, so I think that's also a good idea.
Well, we plan to have any kind of foundation to support development of open source on major applications, open source applications like MySQL or others, because it's really giving back to the community, right? So,
right. We have in our mission 2 ways of giving back to the community again. That is very important for us. But we not have yet that one, but we have other 2. The first one is when we want to acquire something, we try to buy to the team that develops things. For instance, if we need icons for KDE, we try to hire Nuno Pinheiro for designing it. It's a way to give back and to put money in for people that develops it. The second way is giving back.
Anyone can use those icons.
Right. Everything that we hire to outside is open source. And the second thing is to contribute back code. We like to contribute the code that we change and improve more than we do, but we have already some contributions, very nice contributions for the project that we use. Maybe a foundation, but maybe giving money is also a thing to do. But for now, we just use these two, but it's in our mission, and I believe that if funds are in this time we are a profitable company, but the funds are again put it in research, and we invest ourselves in getting a better product. But maybe giving money to projects or somehow let projects compete for some funding, it's a very interesting idea.
Just one final question. Who's funding, for example, Mozilla Foundation? Where do they get the money to hire all the developers? So it's just
Google.
pro bono work.
But you say for Mozilla is mostly supported by Google, right? So Google, for having in Mozilla, in Firefox and so on, as a default engine, pays a lot to Mozilla Foundation. But anyway, what is best is to match what is the interest of Google and the foundation. We have just to find projects where our interest and in our Portuguese interest in schools could match the one that are developed. Maybe KDE, maybe gCompris, maybe other tools. But I really agree with you. That is the way.
Yes, I have a question. It's okay. I'm like the family support, IT support guy to a lot of people in my family, and I arrived to the conclusion that Linux is actually easier for me to put Linux to people's computers, as it's more resistant to virus and all the problems that my family is. You pick up any person that doesn't understand a lot of computers, and well, a Windows computer, it's very easy for them to put full of virus and spyware, etc. And Linux is perfect. And these people, my family, my mother is a teacher, my brother is at university, they are buying computers through all these government programs. I don't remember seeing Linux Caixa Mágica as an option in these government programs that is selling cheap computers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me talk a bit about it. It is an option only in one operator, TMN. It is an option only in a hardware model. But anyway, in 700,000, as I said, computers, 70,000 are with Caixa Mágica, 10%. I will let you with this number, because think, why can't we buy Linux at our stores like Fnac, Vorten, and so on? If there are 10% of the population, people that don't know about computer science, people that know about computer science, that buy a notebook with Linux, why don't we have it in the shops, in the stores? And 10% of them. I think I know your next question, that is, okay, but they install Windows over it when they buy the computer. That's 70,000. I'm talking about 70,000 of these notebooks only with Linux. We have statistics from updates and from help desk, and it does not happen. We have people, of course, that install Windows in dual boot, but we have tens of thousands of people that are using Linux in the schools.
No, because my idea is, okay, these students that are using Linux in school, then because they are used to it, they should arrive at home and want to use Linux. Because my experience is, after you use Linux, it's like there was another guy here speaking about Mac. After you use Linux for some time, you don't want anything else. Even my wife, she was a fan of Mac. After I put a laptop with Linux, she says, wow, this is great. But of course, the first time is difficult, then you get used to it. So I think you are creating a market for Linux in Portugal. So should not these students be the market for Linux?
I think so, but we are very realistic. We are 10, 15 years developing Caixa Mágica, so we know that it's not for tomorrow. That market is growing, people are using, but it takes a lot of time because there are other companies that has the market, most 100% of the market, and I will not say what is the name of the company, neither that someone that comes next will work for that company, but that makes the job difficult. But yeah, I agree with you, and I think you have a wonderful description of what is going on. Thank you. Okay. Thank you all. Yeah.